Good morning. First and foremost, I'd like to apologize. I couldn't name the 9 school directors that made up my government until I was here for about a decade. And they control my taxes. I knew politicians lied, but never really knew how much or cared, as they did their thing and I did mine. Then a lady told me how she was intimidated at one of the Kraus-Craigie meetings just for asking a question. I said to myself, that doesn't make any sense. These people are volunteers. Why would they act that way? And without even meeting my elected officials or knowing their names, I found myself standing up for them. I reviewed the data and concluded that these elected officials, the ones we have, are evil. Not only did they lie, but they intimidate those questioning their authority. Well, enough is enough. As a business person, incompetent managers are easily identified. It is my opinion that the problems in the Lehighton area school district government are cultural. Many districts across the state have the same broken system in which the citizens have lost their ability to economically hold their government accountable to the law. It seems the failure to oversee the administration, the district staff, and the solicitor services are attached to the individual board members. After all, how can a district board choose to hire a staff member, and then that same board fails to review all the applications prior to making a hiring decision? How can individual school board members let this go? As a businessman, we can identify good and bad managers. We look at statistical anomalies such as this hiring process. It's very telling. Several anomalies prove some board members lack common sense. Look at the voting records and ask yourself, did my government official vote to protect the students and the community? Here we go. Let's check. Check out the 2011 and 2014 feasibility studies. Compare them. Student-related safety items marked required in the first report were not repaired in the second report. This is evident for all the schools. In my opinion, it is a tell. These board members didn't take action to make the required repairs. They sat on the cash and did not perform required safety repairs. Why? Here's another one. The district had cash they collected from tax increases. It was accumulating into a huge fund balance, and that balance was collecting a minimal interest rate. The district had debt, and it was at a higher interest rate. Why didn't the district use its cash at a low interest rate to pay off the high interest rate debt? That's a financial tell. Many of the board members that went against the culture of corruption were leveraged into resignation. Take a look at Byron Arner, Marianne Dwyer, Hal Resch, and Tommy Zimmerman. How many resignations do we have to go through before the trend is identified? Intimidated, threatened, rebuked, sanctioned, censured, taken to court for exposing these things? This was just the beginning. The Times News, I collected more facts and statistics to prove these people in office were acting against the best interest of the people. They may be nice people, but in my opinion, they are acting immoral as a government. I will list a few, but see how many it takes before you say, that isn't right. How many examples does it take to convince a person that power corrupts? Any nice person can do stupid things. But how many times before you realize they're not making mistakes, but conscious actions? How do you tell someone that good old Uncle Wayne is a nice person, but a lousy government official? How do you tell someone that their buddy Stern chose immunity over an apology, and educational funds were spent to do so? How do you tell a friend of Larry Stern and Wayne Wentz how bad it looks that the two of them privately met to change the superintendent's contract? And where they are probably nice people, they're not very good at being a director of one of the largest employers in the county. How do you tell rubber stamping Rita that being nice to the staff doesn't require her to ignore the students' rights? How do you tell her that her duty is to provide balanced oversight? Why do the good old boys hate whistleblowers exposing their hypocrisy? Is it pride? Arrogance? Since the day I caught the district lying about the middle school casework, the one that they said would cost $500,000 when it actually was closer to $20,000, I vowed to expose this government so each individual could make their own assessment of the government actions. Our transparency exposes the favoritism, the nepotism, the cronyism. These people are elected to power so they can watch over the system, not rubber stamp it. Larry Stern, Wayne Wentz, and Rita Spinelli have all gravitated towards rubber stamping the administration. Larry Stern testified he has worked for the district. His kids, his wife have all worked for the district. Statistically, what are the odds of that? Wayne Wentz is a nice guy that makes really bad decisions. What are the odds, statistically speaking, that he would vote against an agenda item? What are the odds the policy of the district would be applied differently to a member of his family or his friends? Some board decisions that lack common sense are actually legal. For example, it is legal to be financially inept. It is legal to use loopholes in the laws that benefit the solicitor or the administrators. It was also legal for the district to ignore the people and host a hearing instead of a referendum vote. I want you to ask yourself, was it moral? It was legal for the district board to accept the resignation of a teacher that predated his arrest for corruptions of a minor. Was it moral? It was legal not to pay off the high interest debt with cash. Was that financially sound? Our district went from a few $1,000,000 to debt to over $100 million in debt. Were you asked? Is that serving the community? Is it legal to spend more than you take in? Is it legal to raise taxes with a surplus? Yes, it actually is. Is it moral to vote for people that have done this? I don't think so. Is it legal to take taxes and create a huge taxpayer surplus? Of course it is. Is it moral? Let's take a look at some more. Is it legal to make a sunshine violation? Is it legal to abuse power as an elected official? Is it legal to consume educational funds outside the legal use permitted by the PA school code? Was it moral for your neighborhood board member to vote yes on almost every item on the agenda that the administration presented and no on almost every agenda item that was asked to be placed on the agenda by the community members, under director's concerns? Was it moral to spend educational dollars on pleas of immunity for sunshine violations? Was it moral to spend on attorneys to fight educational benefits of special needs children? The lies these people tell on a regular basis are elephants in the room. It doesn't take a statistician to identify the trend. The rubber stampers protected themselves and the staff. The students, parents, and community have the cards stacked against them when it comes to open government and an open-minded board member. Every person that steps into the election booth is protected from intimidation tactics. They should have no fear of retaliation, and it is those people that make the final judgment of who is given the power to rule over them. The candidates can't claim immunity, nor can they get the rights to an appeal. Using the voting booth to build the board that has the best interest of the community in mind only makes sense. Thank you. Hey, Wayne, why would you vote on something that you didn't read?
Because we got to move forward. You're a businessman. Hey, if this guy's your competition is doing this or that, look at the schools around us.
You're competing? Steve, why did you vote on something that you didn't read?
I'm happy with my judgment. That's all I'm telling you. Excuse us, please.
Sure. I have a couple other questions for you. Do you have a minute afterwards?
No, I don't tonight.
You won't take a minute?
I have other issues besides listening to everyone else.
Do you have a copy of the feasibility study yourself yet?
No, I don't.
Have you read any of it?
No, I didn't.
Gloria, why did you vote on something you didn't read yet?
I've seen it. I've seen most of the feasibility. I have seen it, David. I have seen it.
It's like,
Andy, why did you pass something you didn't read yet?
I'm not answering questions, Dave.
Okay. Larry,
No comment.
why did you pass something
Well,
you
no
didn't
comment, Mr. Bradley. No comment.